Ladies and gentlemen, your favorite series is back. We are back with another installation of Worst Takes from NBA TikTok 3. If y'all haven't watched 1 and 2, I'll put the links in the description, but y'all know how we do it, man. As with any social media platform, there's going to be people talking about basketball and there's going to be people talking about the NBA, and TikTok is no exception. There are some bad takes on this platform. It's just this time it's in video form. Today, I got 4 takes for y'all, and as usual, they're bad. they're bad. Go ahead and follow me on TikTok if y'all want. I don't post regularly on there, but if you guys want to tag me in a terrible take that y'all want to see in a future iteration of this video, go ahead and tag your boy, bsouls_. But before we get into the rest of the video, shout out to the sponsors of this video, Keeps. Look, man, I got the analytics on deck, and I know most of the people that watch my videos are men, more specifically young men. Men who are still young enough to have most of their hair, like myself, you know what I'm saying? I wear the hats a lot, but I still got hair under here, you know what I'm saying? It's just a style choice. And did you guys know that 2 out of 3 guys will experience some type of male pattern baldness by the time they're 35? The best way to prevent hair loss is to catch it while you still got hair on your head before you'll lose it. In other words, it's going to be easier to prevent it instead of dealing with it when it arrives. Now, Keeps treatments can take 4 to 6 months to see results, so it's going to be important for you guys to start as soon as possible. Hundreds of thousands of men trust Keeps, and they have more 5-star reviews than all of the other competitors out there. Hey man, all I gotta say is if you are noticing hair loss, do something about it. And Keeps is here to definitely help you guys, as you guys can go to keeps.com/bsouls to get 50% off your first order. You can also check the link in the description. Once again, shout out to Keeps for sponsoring this video. And I hope you guys don't lose your hair. But now let's talk about this first take.
Now, I'm not no stats guy, but you telling me LeBron and his Cavs team couldn't get more than 1 game against these dudes when Jimmy Butler, with 2 of his best players being injured at times, got 2 games against the Lakers, LeBron and AD? Come on now.
You know, I was honestly going to start off by saying that the 2017 Warriors are better than the 2020 Lakers, but in that same token, you can say the same thing between the 2017 Cavs and the 2020 Miami Heat, especially given the injuries that the Heat suffered. So in terms of relative competition, I get the argument, right? I get the comparison, but I just never got this idea of comparing losses to each other. Now, don't mistake it, right? I understand putting certain players' losses into perspective, into proper context. That's fine. You know, you can look at LeBron James in 2007 and say that he really had no chance, and the fact that he was in the finals was the accomplishment. And honestly, a similar argument can be made for 2017 with the 2017 Cavs and the 2017 Warriors. But even if you don't, the premise still stays the same. You can put losses into context. That's fine. But I just never got this notion of knocking a player because another player lost in more games, like it took longer to beat them. I never got that comparison, because I more so understand, even though it's flawed, when you compare a player who won against a certain team to a player who lost against a certain team, right? But when you start comparing losses, like I don't get the point. You still didn't get the job done. Yes, it was very impressive for Jimmy Butler to lead the Heat the way that he did and push the Lakers to 6 games. Yes, it was very impressive that LeBron James led the Cavaliers to 6 games against the Warriors in 2015. All of these performances are impressive, but I'm not gonna sit here and say that 2008 LeBron is better than, let's say, 2015 LeBron just because it took the Celtics 7 games to beat LeBron back then and the Warriors only needed 6 games to beat him in 2015. Or even if you want to make a case that, oh wait, LeBron is better than 2015 LeBron, that is not the way to do it. That is just, no, you can't do that. And look, I understand, right? All rings are not created equal. I get that logic, and for the most part, I agree with that logic. And with that being said, all losses are also not created equal. I get that being swept, in which every game is a 20-point blowout, is different than losing in 7 games, right? I get that. But knocking LeBron just because Jimmy Butler was able to push the Lakers to 1 more game, comparing what Jimmy Butler did to what LeBron did in 2017? No, that's just not a fair comparison, especially when you consider that it's not like LeBron played bad in 2017. Look at his numbers. He did not play bad. You know, sometimes when we talk about basketball, there doesn't have to be a overarching narrative when it comes to certain players after a series. Sometimes a team just gets flat out outplayed, and we can just leave it at that. We can just leave it at that. You know what's crazy? I can do this exact same video except with the perimeter defenders of this era. I can show guys like Kawhi Leonard and Giannis Antetokounmpo and do the exact same thing. Look, man, the reality of it is eras dictate how players play. If a certain aspect of the game is more effective in a certain era, then the players who are the best at that aspect will succeed and they will dominate more than the competition. When Jordan came into the league, the three-point line, the idea of a three-point shot was a relatively new idea. It's definitely not what it is today. This was a center's game. There were a bunch of crazy shot blockers back then. You got guys like Mark Eaton, Hakeem Olajuwon, David Robinson, Dikembe Mutombo, Patrick Ewing in the paint. You got guys like Alonzo Mourning, Kareem, Robert Parrish. So when it came to perimeter players like Michael Jordan, his ability to stop on a dime and make a shot in the mid-range before even getting to the rim made him that much more effective for that time period. He didn't take threes back then because growing up when Jordan was learning the game, the three was barely a concept. And what Jordan did was perfectly tailor his game for that era. On the other hand, you have this era where rim protectors aren't more emphasized, where the game is more about defensive versatility when it comes to guarding perimeter players and big men than it is just protecting the rim. And when you got a guy like LeBron who has the finishing ability that he has, that has the physique and athleticism that he has, he becomes that much more unstoppable. But even if you disagree with what I just said, right, people do realize that although LeBron is more known for his dominance in the 2010s, if we're just keeping it a buck, links will be in the description, he did play in the 2000s. He did dominate in the 2000s. He had 2 MVPs and a finals appearance in the 2000s. And it wasn't just the tail end of the 2000s. This man played from 2003 to 2010. That's 7 years. That's a majority of the 2000s. A 2000s that had guys like Tim Duncan, Marcus Camby, Shaquille O'Neal, Dwight Howard, Kevin Garnett, Yao Ming. I don't know how I forgot, but Ben Wallace? Hello? These are players that were in the league, yet LeBron James was still able to score 27, 28 points a game on pretty much 50% shooting from the field, which is insane even for that period. Those are good splits for this era in 2020. But you know, it's whatever, man. Let's move on. Look, man, I don't even know if my guy is using this sarcastically, but this is exactly why I can't use totals to compare careers and greatness and players. I can't do that because it's such a flawed way at looking at things. Longevity plays more into totals than anything else. While throughout a career it does show the aspects of your game that you are good at, it doesn't necessarily mean that you had a better career than this player or you were better at this aspect of the game than this player. That's just not how totals work. There are certain players in NBA history when you look at their career totals, they are up there in terms of the rankings. But at the same token, it is pretty clear that they aren't better than some of the players who are playing currently in this era whose careers aren't finished. Like right now, Vince Carter ranks 22nd all-time in scoring. 22nd. Meanwhile, James Harden is all the way down at 41 right now. Look, man, I don't know about y'all, but I am not waiting until James Harden passes Vince Carter at 22nd to say that James Harden is a better scorer than Vince Carter. James Harden is a better scorer than Vince Carter right now. Even historically speaking, when you take into account what he did in the time span of his career so far, when you look at relative games, James Harden is a better scorer. But going back to the logic on this TikTok, I've honestly thought about in the past doing an April Fool's video where I compare Kobe's career to MJ's career. But now that Kobe's passed away, rest in peace to Kobe, that might be taken the wrong way. So I'll just say what my plan was in this video. Essentially, I was going to make an April Fool's video where I compared Kobe's career totals to Michael Jordan's career totals and show that when you look at totals, which is what a lot of LeBron fans do, you can make the same argument for Kobe over MJ as most people do with LeBron over MJ. When you look at totals, when you look at finals opponents, when you look at general competition and the talent in their era, a lot of the same arguments can be made for Kobe as most people do with LeBron. But again, because of Kobe's passing, that would just not be in good taste. So that was a video. That was a video. All right, man. Finally, a non-LeBron MJ take, man. Look, I kid you not, when I do these videos, I really do try my best to find non-LeBron MJ takes, because I know most of y'all are tired of the debate, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm not even gonna get too political, but most people just they have their side. They have their side, and they just roll with it. You can't really change anyone's mind. But most of the TikToks, man, they really are about LeBron and MJ. This is one of the rare ones where it's not about LeBron and MJ. You know, you would think that the ability of you to even make this graphic, right? If this was me, if I was doing this graphic and I saw that, wait, by this logic, then Ben Simmons is better than Magic Johnson, I would have just stopped right there. But no, let's actually use this logic to say that Ben Simmons is better than Magic Johnson and call the people who don't get it not woke. What are we doing? Like, bro, you making this graphic is the rebuttal to your argument. That's crazy. I'm not even gonna give him my energy. Just know, and just be aware next time you make the, aside from this, what does this player do better argument, just take this into account, because this game is way too complex to just be simplified by a bunch of check marks. No. This game is way too complex. I hope y'all enjoyed the takes I covered in this video, man. Follow me on TikTok, or you don't even have to. Just tag me in any like bad takes y'all see on TikToks to be featured in a future iteration of this video, because these are pretty fun. These are pretty fun to do. But with that being said, man, I am out. Deuces.